Members, good morning. It's now 9 a.m. and we formed a quorum. May I call the meeting to order? We will now elect the chairman for the security panel for the 2014-15 term. In accordance with our rule of procedure, if members are chairman or deputy chairman of an ASB directly relevant to this panel, then you cannot be a chairman or vice chairman of this panel. And ROP 37 provides that any member cannot be the chairman or vice chairman of more than one panel. And according to our ROP 22 and Appendix IV, I invite nominations for chairman. A valid nomination should be made by one member orally, to be seconded by at least one member orally, and the acceptance of the member nominated is a must. Ms. Sitho, I nominate Mr. James To. Any seconder? Mr. Nan Leung? Mr. James To, do you accept? I do. Any other nomination? Ms. An Jiang? Ms. Ip got him. Any seconder? Mr. Wong Kok Kin seconds. Any more nominations, please? All right, I do accept. Any other nominations? If there is none, then the nomination is closed. Because both myself and Mr. James To are nominated, I hand over the chair to another member. I'll hand over the chair to the member at the top of the president's list, and it should be Mr. Chan Kam Lam. So, Mr. Chan Kam Lam, please take the chair. We have two candidates. So, staff, please hand out the ballot papers. Under our ROP, each candidate would be allocated a number on the basis of the sequence of nomination. And please use the seal you have to pick the candidate you prefer. Mr. James To is number 1 and Mr. Ip Kwok Him is number 2. Since it is a secret ballot, please do not show your ballot paper to anyone in the room. Please just fold up the ballot paper and put it into a ballot box. There is no need to fold, actually, your ballot paper. Have we all got a ballot paper? All right. So please proceed to vote on the ballot paper.
如果委員喺選票上
If you have made your choice on your ballot paper, I declare the balloting closed. Please, may our Secretariat staff please collect the ballot papers.
陳生，如果係咧即係點票嘅時候咧，可以請兩位提名嘅議員出嚟監察咧，咁就分別係何秀蘭議員同埋蔣麗芸議員。
好，等佢收埋嗰個先。我而家咧就
I invite two nominees to come out to witness the vote counting.
「好啊，開始，好啊。葉國謙2號。唱緊啦，唔該大家肅靜，好唔好啊？
Silence, please. Number 1, James To. Quiet, please. I am reading out the votes. Number 1. Number 1. Please keep quiet. We'll tell you later. We have handed out 31 ballot papers. Number 2. Number 1. Number 2. 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 Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. We'll count the ballot papers once again.
啱嚇。嗱，我而家宣佈咧就選。
I now declare the results. Number 1, Mr. James Toh has got 10 votes. And number 2, Mr. Ip Kwok Him, 20 votes. I declare Mr. Ip Kwok Him elected chairman of the security panel. Congratulations to Mr. Ip. Please chair the election of the vice chairman.
好，多謝大家。
Thank you very much for your support. We now elect the chairman for the panel. So any nomination should be made by one member verbally, to be seconded by another member also orally, and the person nominated must accept the nomination. Mr. Kenneth Leung, I nominate Mr. James Toh. Any seconder, Ms. Sit Ho? I do accept. Any other nomination? Mr. Chan Kim Bo, I nominate Mr. Leung Sing. Any seconder? Mr. Yu Si Wing. Ms. Leung Sing, do you accept? Yes. Any other nominations, please? If not, nomination is closed. Secretariat. Since there are no other nominations, we'll proceed with secret ballot. Secretariat, please distribute a ballot paper to each member.
Each of you will have a chop. I'd like to draw your attention to this. In accordance with their sequence, each candidate will get a number. Number 1 is Mr. James Toh, and number 2 is Mr. Leung Sing. We're going to take a vote by secret ballot, so please do not show your ballot paper to others. Upon completion of the voting, you don't need to fold your ballot paper. I can see that the staff members have already distributed the ballot papers to members. Anyone who has not got a ballot paper? If you've all got a ballot paper, I declare the voting closed. Staff members can no longer distribute ballot papers. Please fill in your ballot papers. Have you done that? Then I'd like to ask the staff to collect the ballot papers from members. We've distributed 30 ballot papers. Are there any members who have not cast their votes? If not, voting is now closed. I will now invite the two members to come up here to supervise the counting of votes. Mr. Chan Kim-po and Mr. Kenneth Leung. After counting the votes, the Secretariat will destroy the ballot papers. We have distributed 30 ballot papers and have collected 30 ballot papers. Number one. Number one. Number one. Number two. 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 Number one. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Please count the number.
OK， 我而家宣布咧。
I now declare the voting results. Number 1, Mr. James Toh got 10 votes. Number 2, Mr. Ng Leung Sing is elected the Deputy Chairman of the Panel on Security. Congratulations, Mr. Ng Leung Sing. Let's proceed to item 2 on the agenda. Schedule of meetings for the 2014-2015 session. The schedule should have been tabled. During the last session, we had our meetings on the first Tuesday of each month in the afternoon. Can we accept that? Mr. James Toh? Mr. Chairman, the Pan-Democrat members have written to you. In the capacity of the chairman, we would like you to call a special meeting to discuss how they please handled the demonstrations recently. Of course, we understand that for the council meetings, we've got a few questions on the same subject. Here in this panel, we would like to have a more detailed discussion. We would like to ask questions and follow up on the issue, rather than taking up the time for oral questions at council meetings. So would you please call an urgent meeting as soon as possible? I believe the police and other government departments are prepared already, because that was originally scheduled for yesterday. So can we call an urgent meeting as soon as possible? And Mr. Chairman, during the last session, you did not call any urgent meeting, which is regrettable. Well, let's proceed with item 3 of the agenda first. That is items for discussion in the next meeting. Can you accept the proposed schedule of meetings? That is, first Tuesday of each month in the afternoon at 2:30 p.m. But for the meeting scheduled for April 2015, that's to be a public holiday. That is the 7th of April. That's the Easter holiday. So, we'd like to propose a change. That is to the 10th of April, Friday, in the morning at 10:45 a.m. So if that's agreeable, so much for this. Yes, Mr. Toh, coming back to your issue, yes, I did receive a letter from you. But at that time, a council meeting has already been scheduled for the same subject, and Mr. Alan Leong has proposed an adjournment debate. Time was pressing then, so I suggested that we discuss the subject at the council meeting. And there is a very realistic question. Next Wednesday, we'll resume our council meetings and we'll come back to the same subject. Well, when should this meeting end? 9:20 a.m.? So we cannot start any discussion now. I've noted your question. I'll look at our meeting schedule and see whether we can accommodate that request. I'll consult you before making a decision. At the next meeting, or for the next meeting, the government has proposed 2 issues for discussion. Proposed extension for a supernumerary post, and then latest developments in the rehabilitative services for the correctional services department. Even if we are not going to have a special meeting, Mr. James To's proposed item will be put on our agenda. Well, Mr. Chairman, the whole society is very concerned about this. If we are to discuss that only in November, we're not being accountable to the public. I've heard you. I'll see whether before we have the normal meetings, we can have another meeting. We should call a meeting before next Wednesday. Well, I'll look at our schedule of meetings and I have to consult you. Ms. Claudia Mo, Mr. Chairman, originally I thought that if we could discuss the issue at the council meeting, then we don't need to have a duplication. But it's still uncertain whether we are going to have a council meeting next Wednesday. The panel on security is duty-bound to, as soon as possible, handle issues related to triad societies, the police, the use of tear gas, and so forth. These are very controversial issues in society, so we really need an urgent meeting. Dr. Chang Lai Wan, Mr. Chairman, I agree that this panel must discuss this issue because many members of the public are very concerned. We should give the police a platform to explain all sorts of issues. So I suggest that item 1 on the agenda of our first regular meeting should be this issue. All right, I'll collect views from you. Ms. Emily Lau, Mr. Chairman, I hope that you can consider the opinion of many members and members of the public. You have actually occupied the leadership of this panel. You should consider the general public's views as well as members' views. Ms. Chen Chi-chun, as Ms. Claudia Mo said, we're not sure whether next Wednesday we'll have a council meeting. Can we adopt a 2-pronged approach? That is, this panel still proceeds with a discussion on the subject. Any more comments? If not, I'll consult all of you. We have to finish this meeting. Otherwise, the next meeting cannot be held on time. Any other business? No? Then I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you.